have the very latest on President Donald Trump's fight against COVID-19. We'll tell you what the doctors are saying about his condition tonight.
It's officially voting season in Ohio. We go inside an early voting location to see what's new.
They've been doing a pretty good job in terms of cracking down on like the big parties and like the large gatherings. Like we had some friends that got in trouble for that, and like a lot better than other schools.
Dozens of students are quarantining at Kent State University. What the school is doing to ease concerns.
And parents, you don't have to cancel all of the Halloween fun this year. We're going to tell you how to make boo baskets for the kiddos. And do you know what Ohio's official native fruit is? I didn't. I'm guessing most Ohioans don't. Mike Polk Jr. will tell us all there is to know about this very unique fruit. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday. It is 5 o'clock, and we are thrilled to be here with you this afternoon. Jay Crawford, Betsy Kling, Russ Mitchell joining us pretty soon, along with Stephanie Haney and a whole cast of others. Sounds a lot bigger than it is, doesn't it? A whole cast.
No, this is huge.
Yeah.
It's big. Hello, Betsy. Hello to everyone at home. We lost a rock and roll legend today. We're going to have more on that story coming up. But we start today at 5 with day one of early voting. It's actually ending right now here in Ohio. We're going to take you coming up inside to see what safety precautions are being made to keep everyone safe. Also, President Donald Trump's doctors say he had a restful first night at the White House and is showing, quote, no symptoms of coronavirus after his release from Walter Reed last night.
Well, it has been a big day of developments in our nation's capital. Russ Mitchell is here to join us with three big stories that we're keeping an eye on this evening. Hi there, Russ.
Hey, Betsy, good afternoon. President Trump said late this afternoon there will be no stimulus package until after the election. He tweeted that he has told his representatives to stop negotiating, asking Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to instead focus on approving a Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett. Upon that announcement, stocks fell, the Dow closing the day down 375 points. Now to the president's health. His doctors say, as Jay just told you, he had a restful first night at home and his vital signs remain stable. And the First Lady, Melania Trump, they say, is feeling good as she also recovers from the virus. Also today, Facebook and Twitter removed posts from the president that compared COVID-19 to the flu. Dr. Anthony Fauci later spoke on that issue, drawing a sharp distinction between the two.
It has some overlapping symptomatology early on, but flu doesn't do the things to you that COVID-19 can.
Also, we learned today that 4 of the 8 military chiefs of staff are in quarantine after Coast Guard Admiral Charles Ray tested positive for the virus. They include the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the vice chairman, and the heads of the Air Force and Space Force. None is showing any symptoms. And Betsy, we also learned late today that a third member of the White House press office has tested positive for coronavirus.
Wow, that entire White House cluster just continues to see the spider effect go out. All right, Russ, thank you so much. We'll see you coming up at 6 on What Matters Most. Well, as Jay mentioned just a couple moments ago, we do have breaking news to tell you about. Musician Eddie Van Halen has died of throat cancer. He and his brother Alex founded the rock band Van Halen back in 1972, and for decades they rocked, and they've ultimately earned themselves a spot in the Rock Hall, being inducted in 2007. The Rock Hall will play the music all day, Van Halen's music all day, and the flag on the plaza outside will be at half staff. Van Halen had been battling cancer for over a decade. Eddie Van Halen was 65 years old.
One of the all-time great guitarists. Now on your feet at 5, today was the first day of early in-person voting across Ohio. Our Romney Smith went to check out the lines. Romney, you've covered elections before, obviously never during a pandemic. What's new this year? What did you see that's different?
You know, the one thing, Jay, I have to say that was different was what I'm doing, wearing a mask. Every single person had them. The polls just closed at 5 o'clock, but everyone who's inside will be permitted to cast their ballot. But let's talk about this morning. There was a very long line, everyone, again, wearing their mask and doing their best to social distance from the people around them. That caused the line to look longer than it normally would, but people in general didn't seem to mind waiting in order to cast a ballot. Now, upon entry, you also had to have your temperature checked And there were plenty of hand sanitizing stations as well. A really big difference we saw inside, of course, was a safety precaution that looked like shower curtains, and they were dividing the actual voting stations. That, of course, being done out of safety since we're still in the midst of a pandemic. A first-time voter I spoke with said she knew there would be changes, but still wanted to vote on the first day possible, and she has a message for other registered first-time voters.
I would say, do what your heart feels, but, be mindful that you're not only just deciding for yourself, you're deciding for those around you, like your family.
The mood here was absolutely electric all morning and afternoon long, and I have to say, it's pretty exciting to see people so pumped up about casting a ballot.
Romney, I don't know that we've ever seen a time quite like this in our country's history, at least politically speaking. Did you pick up on any conversation? Was there any one topic that people in line were talking about today?
There's more than one topic, Jay. I heard a bunch of different conversations. One, of course, people talking about what safety precautions they were anticipating seeing inside. Of course, they were talking respectfully about both presidential candidates, which was really nice of a change, but also other topics. Keep in mind, it's not just the president we're voting for. Plenty of other candidates on the ballot, but a lot of people talking about education in Cuyahoga County and funding for public schools.
Yeah, there are
a lot certainly going on.
Romney, I'm glad you brought that up because this is just a huge, huge election year. Romney Smith, thank you so much. We appreciate it. On to our coronavirus numbers now here in Ohio, and with cases climbing again in Europe as well as parts of New York City, many of us are wondering if the second wave is nearing. Ohio's 1,335 new cases, 300 cases more than our 21-day average. Our three other primary data points, our positivity rate is down slightly, 2.9%. That is still well below the WHO's recommended threshold, but that's the number that really we need to keep a focus on. We saw a big jump day to day in statewide hospitalizations. It was up 52 from yesterday to 777 now statewide. In fact, so noteworthy, it was discussed at today's news briefing by the governor. Our deaths, though, remain below our 21-day average. 16 new deaths reported today. That is 5 below our 21-day average of 16.
Well, Kent State University now has dozens of students in quarantine after more positive COVID-19 cases on campus. Tiffany Tarpley tells us what else is being done to keep others safe.
57 students here on Kent State's campus have been told that they need to quarantine until next Friday. The majority of those live on the 9th floor at Kuntz Hall, which I'm told houses a number of aviation students. Centennial Court E's 3rd floor residents are also impacted. This note is posted in the elevator of Kuntz, asking students to take a wipe and be safe.
I mean, so far, Kent's been doing a really good job. I mean, pretty much you don't go anywhere without people wearing masks. So, I mean, it makes you feel safe. I mean, everything's clean.
They've been doing a pretty good job in terms of cracking down on, the big parties and, the large gatherings. We had some friends that got in trouble for that. And a lot better than other schools because
Starting next week, Kent State is partnering with CVS to offer testing to anyone here on campus. In addition to that, they will be randomly testing about 450 people each week. In Kent, Tiffany Tarpley, 3 News.
Well, if you find yourself alone more and more at home, whether it's for work or for school, well, you may be quarantining or you may just be working from home. The pandemic has many Americans spending more time in their houses, and working from home can be a struggle, especially for those who have a hard time focusing. There's many more distractions in your house than at the workplace. Now there's an online tool to help employees focus. It's called FocusMate, and it allows users to book an appointment where they'll be paired with someone else who wants to accomplish something during the session. It's kind of like a phone a friend, but you don't know who's on the other end. They meet for a video call, they tell the other person what they want to accomplish, and then both sides get to work. Now, the video call is active the entire time, so it's basically like a live Zoom. One user says it makes her feel like she's part of an office.
Feel like you're extra productive because you don't want to move. You'll say something like, okay, was that productive? What'd you get done? And so it's just very interesting to see aha moments. You almost feel like you're a part of their journey.
Well, the service costs $5 a month for unlimited sessions. Otherwise, you can get 3 sessions a week. And Jay, you've mentioned this before, but every day at 3:30 or so, I get my weather team together on a Microsoft Teams call, and we discuss the forecast. But that interaction is so crucial, not only because we get to line the forecast numbers up, but because, you know, it's the collaboration that makes it work.
I think that's a perfect example, Betsy, of how I can see this working well. What is a little different for me, and we all work differently.
Right.
I focus in my own mind.
Yes, you do.
And that, to me, would be a distraction.
Yes.
Discussing my task with another person, to me, I'm adding another element into the process. That's just not the way I would be able to get it done.
Right. Well, as for productivity, of course, it's all dependent. Flex Jobs is a company that found where they put out a survey. 95% of Americans have been more productive or just as productive when they're at home than when they're in the workplace. 65% say they want to stay working from home.
I know that's a big thing. I did both. I was home for a matter of months, and I can honestly say that the convenience of home, you can't beat it. You just can't beat it. Now, provided you can do everything that you need to do, it works.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody.
It isn't. I would be very distracted, I think. I would have problems. I have tiny humans there
Well,
running
that's
around.
the thing. You have distractions at home. I do not. It was easy for me to
I would have lots of helpers with the forecast that I probably wouldn't necessarily need.
You know, that might be entertaining.
It'd be very interesting. It's 137 degrees tomorrow, friends. It's amazing. All right, well, we know that Ohio's state bird is the cardinal. But did you know, or do you know, what the state's native fruit is? Not the state fruit, the native fruit. Well, as usual, Mike Polk is the one who's going to give us the answers about this.
I'm going to admit, I did not know. I was wrong with my guess. And the Browns are intercepting cancer. We're going to tell you what the team is doing to honor those impacted by this horrible disease.
And of course, Matt, one of our cast and crew members of our big show here. Matt, what's coming up in the forecast?
Hi there, Betsy. It is sunny, it's breezy, and boy, does it feel good outside. And this weather is going to continue over the course of the next 5 to 7 days. We have a couple potholes here and there, and we've got a really windy Wednesday ahead. We'll detail how strong those gusts are going to get coming up in the forecast after this.
Welcome back to What's New. You probably know that Ohio's state bird is the cardinal, and our state flower is the carnation. But do you know the name of Ohio's official indigenous or native fruit? I have to admit, I did not. But never fear, Mike Polk is here to educate and entertain.
So, what do you think this is, folks? An underripe potato? Perhaps a malformed pear? Well, let's take a look inside. What the? Don't panic, everyone. It's just a pawpaw, and it's supposed to look like that. I recently learned that Ohio has an official indigenous fruit called the pawpaw, and I'm embarrassed to say that I've never seen one, let alone tasted it. So to educate myself, I tracked down Gwen Rosenberg, who grows her own pawpaws in her backyard, and then sells them at her popcorn shop in Kent.
Now, would you mind telling me a little bit about the pawpaw?
It's the official native tree fruit of Ohio, and I think they made that designation in 2009.
Can I just take a moment and just apologize on behalf of Ohioans who have not experienced their native fruit so far? It's embarrassing, and I promise we'll try to remedy it.
Thank you.
What's the window for the pawpaws? How long do people have to enjoy them still?
It's a very short window of time, about 2 weeks. The texture of a pawpaw is sort of like wet, like a kiwi, so you eat it with a spoon. And then the flavor is very tropical. It kind of tastes like mango, strawberry, banana, pineapple, all in one. Once you cut into them, it's got some big seeds in the center of it, so you don't eat the seeds. They're not a handsome fruit.
Like Ohio, it might be a little rough around the edges, but it's what's inside that matters, which is also gross, but tastes good momentarily if you get there really quick. My recommendation for getting the pawpaw to take off in popularity is to put it into a microbrew. Would you consider doing that?
Yes, and I would drink all of those microbrews with pawpaw, yes.
I'm now going to experience my first pawpaw from a safe social distance, and I will give you my verdict. I'm about to try it from over here.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. All right, my first pawpaw experience. That is really unique. That's good. It's like nothing I've ever had. Or like a fruit that can't decide what it's gonna be when it grows up. You have a pretty good native fruit, Ohio, and you're blowing it by not getting on the pawpaw bandwagon. And I respect you, and you're a part of my life moving forward. Thank you for this experience. I feel like we know each other so much better right now. I've now connected with Ohio's official indigenous fruit, and you can too, but you better hurry because they're not in season for much longer. This is Mike for 3 News, expanding your horizons.
And Betsy, I, for one, am so glad that he did. And because of Mike Polk, he had 2 extras. We are going to experience the beauty of the pawpaw right now.
Here we go. All
Polk
right.
had 2 at his house, and we ran over and picked them up.
So I cut one for you.
Mine's already
And you
cut
cut
and
it
ready.
just like an avocado. So you go around the end.
Right.
I had to read about this because I've never heard of these things either. And then you twist it.
The texture's a bit of a shocker.
And look at the size
It's
of
kind of
these.
like baby food.
Look at the seeds in there. It's like a big old bean, right? And supposedly you just suck on these and you can spit those out too. But you scoop it out with
What do
a
you
spoon
think of
like
it?
a
Have you
kiwi.
tried it?
I haven't. I'm going to try it right now.
Okay. I'm a little undecided. The texture kind of throws you, doesn't it?
It does. I could, I think it would be better frozen, like a
In a drink.
sorbet or something.
In a drink. I think the
This would be
flavor is good.
amazing with some adult beverage
Yes,
additions.
I agree.
Like super amazing.
It's fruity, but I got to tell you, what really gets me is it tastes like it's been
That
in a
bite was
blender
better.
for 5 solid minutes.
That bite was better. The first bite was not as good as the second bite. Is that weird? Maybe that's...
No.
Did I hit a better part?
Maybe it's an acquired taste. By the way, Mike said it in his piece, but you can get these at both Popped locations in Kent and in Ravenna. And he's right. They're not in season much longer. So
And
if
they're
you want to try the
easy to
pawpaw.
eat. It's one of those things you can really
Hurry
freak
up.
your kids out with, too.
Yeah.
Everybody has a tri-scoop.
It really is like eating baby food.
It's interesting. All right,
Very,
well, here
very
we are just hogging down Pawpaw here in the studio. Meanwhile, Matt, who actually has kids that might try this. I mean, it's vegan, Matt, so it could definitely be on the menu there. What do you think? Would you like to try a Pawpaw if we send one out?
Yeah, Betsy, absolutely not. That's not coming near our house. Listen, I don't trust anything tropical that grows in Ohio. If it tastes tropical and it grows here, I mean, we know our climate, so you can keep that away from us. I appreciate it, though.
Might be missing something.
Your
No, I'm
weather
not.
word, Matt, is seasonal.
Oh, that's easy.
That's a layup.
Oh.
I mean, that's a layup.
Jeez, Jay, that's like putting partly cloudy as the word of the day. I appreciate it,
well,
Jay.
Betsy was upset yesterday that the weather word wasn't really a weather word.
Oh, well, I just feel like this has been an easy week. I was preparing for Pawpaw. I thought you were going to throw that into the forecast somehow, but we'll get seasonal in there, Jay. Should be really rough. I think I actually have it written on one of the graphics, as you'll see here in a second. But boy, guys, does it get any better than this? It is a nice fall afternoon. The thing about this time of year, we barely have humidity. There's no humidity to speak of, so the air temperature is what you get. And we've got temperatures there in the 60s out towards the east. It's warmest out towards the west, where we've got 72 in Sandusky right now, and we're all dealing with a breeze, and it is coming in fast out of the southwest. We've had gusts of 30 at times. Otherwise, it's anywhere between 10 and 15 miles per hour. If you ever get warm air here this time of year, it's got to come via the wind. Now, you think it's breezy today. It is, but tomorrow we turn pretty windy. Some of the gusts tomorrow will go over 30 miles per hour at times. Not a knock your hat off kind of wind, but it certainly will be gusty tomorrow as another system comes in. We do have some high clouds floating through the area as expected. This is off a system off towards the north, but you can see that area low pressure to our north and the west. That is going to come in very quickly on the heels of the jet stream. Not expecting any rain. We will have some cloud cover periodically off of that, but it will kick up our winds tomorrow. But as long as we're on the south side of that jet stream that you see there, we're going to stay on the warm side, and we're going to temporarily dip as we go on into Thursday, as we have a cooler spot in the forecast, but then we get back into that warmth once again. The big story national weather-wise is Hurricane Delta. This is a major hurricane, Category 4. It's going to slam into areas of the Yucatan near Cancun and then emerge out into the Gulf of Mexico. Betsy was highlighting last night that she thought this would start to weaken as it approached the shore because it's going to start to interact with the jet stream. I think the models completely agree with that. So we're still going to be dealing with a powerhouse hurricane. Yep, into Louisiana once again. What a season they've had down there, but thankfully, or hopefully, it'll start to weaken as it approaches, but still a major storm for them. Locally, we don't have anything of that sort. You can see tonight we clear out after that system moves through. It will be a breezy night, so if you choose to have the windows open, it's going to be breezy. Temperatures in the 50s tomorrow. After some morning clouds, will break out into sunshine, highs near 70. And look at that Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. Our cool spot is on Thursday with some breezy conditions around. We warm up for the weekend, and our next chance of rain would actually come off the remnants of what will be Delta. That would arrive sometime Sunday and Monday, but models keeping a lot of that south right now, so we'll continue to fine-tune that forecast. But are you guys done eating your Pawpaw, or do I need to stretch?
We're done, but I never heard the weather word.
Okay.
Seasonal.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It's, oh, no.
Matt, I made it so easy.
Matt, you just bricked a layup.
No.
Well done.
I did, just like high school.
That's hard to do. All right, thank you very much. Yes, the Pawpaws are moving on down the line here.
Rob, our floor director, said if they were that good, we would have heard about them by now.
They're good.
I agree with you, Rob.
I like it. I think it needs a little something mixed in for sure.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Matt. We'll see you again in a couple minutes. Well, coming up next on What's New, fighting back against cancer, how the Browns will honor those impacted and the message they have for patients avoiding the hospital during the pandemic.
Hey, mic check. It is Tuesday, October 6th, and the world of music has been rocked by the passing of Eddie Van Halen.
It's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland, and for that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. And Stephanie, obviously with the news of Eddie Van Halen's passing, there is a lot of reaction that's coming out on social media.
That's right, Betsy. The world of music was really rocked today with the sudden passing of rock and roll legend Eddie Van Halen from cancer. Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue tweeted that he is crushed and that Van Halen changed the world of music, calling him the Mozart of rock guitar and adding, "Travel safe, rock star." Singer and songwriter Billy Idol wished for the guitar legend to rest in peace and said what so many are thinking, "We will miss you." And Taylor Momsen from the group The Pretty Reckless wrote that this is a very hard one to take, that Van Halen's influence and his music will go on forever, and thanking him for everything he's done. Now, cancer screenings are obviously very important, and on Sunday, the Cleveland Browns will host their first cancer awareness game this month. The home game against the Indianapolis Colts is presented by University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center. The Browns will honor cancer survivors, patients in treatment, and their loved ones, both before and during the game. Experts say cancer screenings are down right now, and this Crucial Catch campaign hopes to change that. For more on how to contribute, go to WKYC.com. And October is also known for the beautiful fall colors. Here's a look around Northeast Ohio this week. Check out these beautiful colors at Hubbard Lake near Hubbard Valley Road, sent in through the WKYC app from Tom in Seville, Ohio. Here's a beautiful photo on the scene in Ohio City, courtesy of Great Lakes Brewing Company, with a reminder that the patio is open. And how about this great idea from Alan White? Alan took his family on a ride on the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad with his wife Cindy, and those three are seen there with the conductor. Alan says this is a lovely way to enjoy the fall colors in Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and welcome back the railroad. And I do say welcome back, Betsy, because it just reopened on October 1st. I am just learning about this. This is absolutely lovely and perfect timing.
Oh, the leaves are going to be amazing, and the train is where it's at. You can put your bike on and go down and then bike for a while, get back on the train. It's phenomenal. So if you ever had a chance to do it, definitely do it, especially with the family. Thanks so much, Stephanie. Well, up next, the president's health, what we know from his doctors today, and what they are doing to help control messaging from the president. There's a lot going on back and forth with social media and otherwise.
And do you know about boo baskets? I did not, but we're going to learn about them. I think Betsy knows a lot about them. And we're going to tell you how you can, it's a way to make Halloween fun and safe. A lot of the fun stuff is being cut out this year. That's coming up next on What's New.
That's right. And the 355, what we know about this spy thriller and when it's expected in theaters. It's ahead in Pop Break.
Yeah, I've got you. Hello.
Who are the anchors?
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
It most certainly is. Welcome back in. It's the second half hour of What's New on this beautiful Tuesday evening, along with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford.
How you doing, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us and staying with us, too. We flip around to the 5:30 half hour, and we start with President Trump's COVID-19 treatment as today's top talker.
Yeah, that's right, Betsy. The president continues to be closely monitored inside the White House. He's also been downplaying the disease today that has claimed more than 200,000 American lives. He's compared it to the seasonal flu. NBC's Alice Barr joins me now from Washington with more. Good evening, Alice.
Good evening, Jay. With the election now 4 weeks from today, President Trump is in isolation, but seeking to show that he's not cut off, in command of his health and the nation.
President Trump back in the White House, still battling coronavirus and the very real concerns about how vulnerable he may still be. His doctor saying he's doing well today after 3 nights in the hospital and reporting no symptoms. But his escalating downplaying of the illness is drawing more scrutiny. Today, in a tweet flagged as misleading, the president comparing the virus to the flu, which he falsely claimed kills 100,000 people in some years, and saying we have to learn to live with COVID. Top health official Dr. Anthony Fauci drawing a sharp distinction between COVID-19, which has killed 1 million people worldwide, and the common flu.
It has some overlapping symptomatology early on, but flu doesn't do the things to you that COVID-19 can.
With more than a dozen cases now reported within the White House, concern extending to the Pentagon, where the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and other top brass are going into quarantine after being exposed. That caution at odds with their commander-in-chief and his highly choreographed return to the White House, where the president peeled off his mask before going inside to meet waiting staffers and tape a message designed to project strength.
Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives.
Medical experts say President Trump is still within a 10-day window that will determine the severity of his illness.
We hope that he gets through the rest of this without a worsening of his symptoms, but he's nowhere near out of the woods.
Nevertheless, the president tweeting he's feeling great and looking forward to debating Joe Biden next week in Miami.
And as the debate commission considers how to move forward with the next 2 presidential debates, a source familiar with those discussions tells NBC News one idea being floated is to hold them outside. Back to you, Jay and Betsy.
All right, Alice Barr, thank you very much. Remember, the second debate is less than 10 days away now, Election Day, 4 weeks from today. Betsy?
Hard to believe it's coming up on us so quickly. Well, Laura Queso joins me now with some more of our news headlines today. Hi there, Laura.
Hi, Betsy, and a lot to get to. First, a man who took off in a stolen minivan is dead after he crashed into a semi in a wrong-way accident. This was on Route 8 in Akron early today. Akron police tell us a woman called to say the man took her minivan and 2 guns during a domestic dispute. Now, police spotted the vehicle and gave a chase. Once the man got on Route 8, the chase was called off. But further down the road, the man hit the semi. The driver of the semi and another car hit had minor injuries, we're told. Now to the coronavirus numbers. 1,335 new cases reported in the state today. And in the past 24 hours, 132 Ohioans were admitted to the hospital. And the age of those being admitted, we're told, is going up. In fact, 70% of Ohioans going to the hospital for COVID-19 are 60 and older. This is up 50% from July.
The president said yesterday that we should not let the virus dominate our life, and that certainly is true. We have to learn to live with it, at least for a while. Part of that means accepting that it is in every community in Ohio, and that all of us are at risk of getting it.
The governor also said we are seeing a spike in rural counties. Meanwhile, the vice presidential debate is tomorrow night. And now new elements are being added to keep the nominees safe. Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris will now be separated by plexiglass and sit more than 12 feet apart. Both tested negative for COVID today. And by the way, President Trump tweeted today, you're looking at it, he's looking forward to his second debate with Joe Biden. That's on October 15th, at least scheduled to be, Betsy.
Yeah, scheduled is kind of an important part of that, certainly with all of the latest developments in the president's health. We're going to have to wait and see, but knowing him, he's going to push forward as much as he can. All right. Thanks so much, Laura, for that. Well, you see it there, the pumpkins and trick-or-treaters and ghosts and goblins. Well, trick-or-treat is going to be a lot different this year. Some people are looking for new ways to safely celebrate without sending kids door to door. We talked with Brittany Timms from Party City about some alternative ways to get the kids and the neighbors involved in Halloween.
If you can't trick-or-treat this year, one really cool idea is the booing and ghosting, which is a family-friendly do-it-yourself craft. You know, parents and kids of all ages can enjoy, where you pack a bag or a basket, anything you have laying around at home, super affordable. Put some candy and little favors inside, drop them off at your neighbors or your friends or your family's house with a little note that says you've been booed.
Doing that. So the idea here who's doing that? The idea here is to spread the boo. Your boo basket should include 2 notes. One goes on your door to show that you've been booed when you receive, and then the other one explains how to pass the boo on to a neighbor. So our crafty producing team here found the boo notes. So here's the side that says you've been booed, right? So you take that and then you flip it over and it says we've been booed, and you put this up in your door.
And then you have to pay it back to someone?
You send that down the line then. So, and you don't have to tell them who's who. The idea, I think, is kind of like a secret Santa. Like you just go and put the basket of goodies on there. You could do whatever you want. Candy for the kids. You could do, you know, trick or treat tchotchkes and items like that. A little glass of wine, a bottle of wine, maybe some
adult booing.
beer. Yeah, you could boo the neighbors, certainly. But there's all kinds of cute little ideas for these signs. The kids can also make the signs. That's kind of a fun way to do it, certainly. Sure. But we're going to post links to these on our WKYC.com/what's new webpage, so you can begin to boo your.
So I guess it's good to be booed.
It's very good to be booed. It's a cute
rewarding
thing, definitely. And I think a lot of folks right now are, you know, they're getting to know their neighbors a little bit more. People have been out walking in their neighborhoods more than in the past, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you're seeing these people. It might be a way to make a new connection.
Very cool. All righty. I understand now. Still ahead on What's New, Dancing with the Stars big time messed up last night. In fact, they almost sent the wrong contestants home. We're going to tell you what went down behind the scenes that created all of this live TV chaos.
And a common household chore could be hurting our Great Lakes. What is it and what you can do to stop?
Matt, what's going on outside?
Hi there, Jay. Today begins the beautiful stretch of weather here across Northeast Ohio as we bring in this warmer air. We've got a little setback on Thursday. We'll talk about that. And we'll also highlight the major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico and how that impacts our Northeast Ohio weather. All that coming up in the forecast. Mic check, Matt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good.
Boy, you know what I was just thinking about is seasonal allergies this time of the year, and how it could really kick up and get folks a snootful or two. You know, Matt, I'm sure that everybody's kind of feeling that same thing. And with all this dry air that's in place and the dry weather, that's probably going to end up continuing.
Betsy, I don't think you can hear me during the commercial break, but I literally just let out 2 large sneezes right before we came back on air. And I told Trisha, our producer, I'm glad I got that out of the way. So you're absolutely right.
And we're glad you're at home.
Seasonal allergies. Yeah, for sure. You know, it's always great to sneeze in the studio, right on our weather workspaces as well. But I'll tell you, you know, it's not just your seasonal allergies, it's the seasonal feel to the atmosphere that just has everyone in a good mood. Ah, yes, nailed it. Really late on that, but it certainly is a nice evening outside. We're generally near 70 degrees still at this hour. Now tonight, we've been talking about that wind that's been blowing out of the south. That's going to keep us warmer tonight. Gone are the 30s, even the 40s. I think we're all going to fall back just into the 50s tonight. So it is a good windows open kind of night. But look at the air we're tapping into with that southwest wind. A huge portion of the country right now is at or above average with 70s and 80s very common. And again, that wind out of the south continues to tap into that. We do have some high clouds floating overhead. Again, this should make for a beautiful sunset as you're out and about here this evening. That sunset at 7 o'clock tonight. Out towards the north and west, though, is a fast-moving weather system that'll really whip up our wind tomorrow. That's about all it'll do. It'll spread some more high clouds across the area. But the big concern across the country right now is the major hurricane. We're now at Delta in the Gulf of Mexico. This is heading towards the Yucatan of Mexico and then is expected to head out in the Gulf of Mexico. But the latest on Delta, winds are at 145. They've had gusts upwards of 175 measured with this. Very well-defined center, although the eye is not really evident yet, so this could show some more signs of strengthening. But as it heads out into the Gulf, open waters this time of year, it's free range. But as it heads a little bit further northward, it'll start to interact with our jet stream, so hopefully we can weaken this thing before it comes inland. But you notice that path up towards the Ohio Valley, that could bring us some impacts, just some showers as of right now, possible Sunday into Monday. Your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast, it's all about wind direction this time of year. Tonight, the wind out of the south and the west will be in the 50s. Some high clouds tomorrow, but watch how the wind shifts behind that system tomorrow afternoon. It turns westerly. We're still mild, but by evening, it starts to come out of the west-northwest, so we should have a pretty rapid lakeshore cooling tomorrow evening. And then look at the difference on Thursday. Temperatures in the 40s with that northwest wind, and we only make it up to near 60 degrees. But if you like the warm weather, you don't have to wait long beyond that. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast, so we're jumping back up to 72 on Friday, 75 on Saturday. A beautiful weekend ahead. Some showers possible Sunday, Monday with the remnants of Delta. But other than that, it is a great-looking forecast. And Betsy, I know we're looking long range on this as well. No big cold spells in the forecast, at least over the next 7 to 10 days.
That's right. Things are looking very nice for us here in mid to late October. Thanks a lot, Matt. Appreciate it. We'll see you coming up on Front Row.
Well, live TV can make for some pretty awkward moments, and that's exactly what happened last night on Dancing with the Stars. Sarah Shookman has all the details on why Tyra Banks almost sent the wrong couple home.
Kerry Washington is being candid about her mental health. The Little Fires Everywhere actress responded to a fan late Monday night who asked her if she ever sleeps, seeing that she was up at an unusual time. Kerry responded on Twitter by saying, "I'm having a hard time sleeping, lots of anxiety and stress. Thanks for asking." Seeing as it is Mental Health Awareness Week, we're glad she's bringing awareness to the issues that affect so many of us. Dancing with the Stars had a mix-up of epic proportions last night.
The next safe couple is... Monica and Val.
They announced cheer star Monica Aldama as safe, only to call her team back into the bottom two.
There's actually been an error. I'm looking right now. The bottom two couples are Anne and Keo, and Monica and Val. Please come back.
While we wish awkward was the word, that doesn't even begin to cover it. Thankfully, they didn't end up sending the couple home. And Universal has released a brand new trailer for the spy thriller film The 355. The movie brings a slate of talented actresses together, including Jessica Chastain, Diane Kruger, Lupita Nyong'o, and Penelope Cruz. The film follows spies from the top secret agencies around the world, including the MI5, the CIA, and more.
I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, a lot of folks are. It's got heavy anticipation. Back to the Dancing with the Stars. Yikes! Social media went bananas.
Oh, of course they did.
People were saying this is Steve Harvey Part 2.
Right.
Imagine. And now, fortunately, the couple that she cleared, when they were called back as not being safe, they ended up not being sent home.
Right.
But that would have been super awkward. They're backstage, they're celebrating, we're safe. 3 minutes later, they're going home. Didn't work out that way, but that was hard to watch, man.
I mean, it happens. Things, in live television, you all know how this goes. You watch us all the time.
We walk that tightrope an hour every day.
It's part of live television. It is what happens. And certainly, we're all prone to making mistakes. We're human after all. But, it's one of those, I'm glad it's them and not me.
I want to know the behind-the-scenes story because later she tweeted out, it was the control room's fault.
Oh.
It wasn't my fault. So
wow.
I don't know if that's true. Only, I guess, the folks.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. We're all a team, lady. Come on. You don't throw anybody under the bus on the team. The control room saves you. I love your control room. Thank you.
Matt, you're the best.
Always saving us. Yay, we get ding. All right. Next on What's New, we all have to do laundry, but one common item that we are laundering could be hurting our Great Lakes. We dive into the new study and what you can do to protect our greatest natural resource.
This is really interesting, that story.
Yeah.
And these are rare images. A Trump and Biden supporter taking pictures together. It's a cool story. We'll give you the behind-the-scenes story and why they want everyone to hear their message.
All right, now it's pop quiz time. On this day in 1993, Michael Jordan retired from the NBA for the first time. There was sadness, there was weeping. What year did he make his return when everyone was joyful once again? 1995, 1998, or 2000? I'm pretty sure Jay knows the answer to this. We'll see if you do on the flip.
We were cheering at Cleveland.
All right, before the break, we asked you what year Michael Jordan returned to the NBA after retiring the first time. The options, 95, 98, or 2000. Jay, I know you know this.
Yeah, that was 95.
The answer is 95. He retired for a second time in 98.
That was big news when that happened.
I can only imagine that it was big news. I was graduating from high school and not paying very much attention.
Okay, I'm sure you know this. Jeans have long been one of the most popular pieces of clothing in the United States. However, according to a new Canadian study, this is fascinating. What we're doing with them each week may actually be harming the Great Lakes and the Arctic Ocean. Meteorologist Jason Fraser has more on why and how we can help.
They were invented in the 1800s as workwear, and they were like solely used as workwear until the later 20th century. Time to make the club go.
Since then, they have become a fashion statement and something comfortable to wear to a barbecue, the park, or on a date.
One of the estimates that I've read in doing this work is that at any given moment, half of the world's population could be wearing denim.
But it's what we're doing each week with those denim blue jeans that could be harming Lake Erie, other Great Lakes, and the Arctic, according to a recent study from the University of Toronto.
We found that a pair of used jeans in a cold water wash cycle will shed around 50,000 fibers per wash.
Researchers did some calculations and found the average household is putting close to 10 million microfibers into the environment each year. Those microfibers are similar to the lint you find in your dryer after each use. Experts believe that some of those fishes in the Great Lakes are eating those microfibers, and that could have an impact on us long term.
There are technologies like washing machine filters, which can be used to effectively reduce the number of fibers that.
The study found older or worn jeans released less fibers. So what impact does this have on places like Lake Erie? Well, researchers say for now it's too early to tell, and more studies will need to be done. However, in the meantime, they're asking you to cut back on how much you're throwing your jeans in the washer.
Many of us wash them a lot more than manufacturers recommend. It's recommended that you wash your blue jeans about once a month or even less than that.
Ooh.
They'd stand up on their own if I only washed them once a month.
Yeah,
I'm my word.
Definitely washing
Maybe
them
hand wash? I
more
don't
than
know.
that.
Oh my gosh.
So the study only focused on blue denim, but because, you know, there are other dyes in the other jeans that are different colors, obviously, but researchers expect that they would likely see the same or perhaps even worse effects on the environment, Betsy, than what they see in the blue denim.
Well, the hard part is it's the microfibers. Once you know, the larger fibers are obviously caught up in septic systems and leach fields, and then of course your sewage systems too. But oh my goodness, those microfibers get very problematic. There's microparticles that are in the lake of plastics and glass, so it does become a big problem. So just do your part. Keep it as clean as you can.
Okay, up next, who says politics has to divide all people? Why a couple of moms in Texas decided that they would embrace one another despite their political beliefs.
Then coming up on What Matters Most at 6, rapid COVID tests. They can give false negative results. So should these tests be given, and to whom?
Hello, Matt. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. They're off. Hundreds cast their ballots in person.
Hey, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check. Laura Queso's mic.
wrap up with our show is something good that comes to us from Texas, where two neighbors won't let politics come between them.
Tasha Hancock is a Democrat. Marn Litton is a Republican. Both say there's no reason to disrespect each other, so they posted pictures of themselves together to their neighborhood Facebook page.
People were like, thank you for doing this. This is how it should be. Thank you for acting like adults.
I think also it's about to demonstrate to our kids, we're both mothers, and to demonstrate to our kids that you can have different opinions, you can look different, and still respect and love one another.
That's what we were talking about yesterday.
You aren't
have
kidding.
different opinions, but
Yes.
everybody's opinion is respected. Well, get this, Jay. They even will be voting, though they'll be voting different on Election Day, they're going to be riding to the polls together.
All right, and if they ever run for office in a place I can vote for them, they've got my vote. Adults coming together.
We need more.
We're out of time. Thanks for joining us. We're back tomorrow at 5.